Hey everyone, Thyworm here with a 0 to hero in Torchlight Infinite, the Vorax season. Not in SSF because I am not experienced enough for that. I learned a lot and I would like to share this adventure with you. I had no real goal as I didn't quite know what to expect, so I picked a build that looked fun and started the game. Enjoy and let's dive in. I start as Yuga 2 and the plan is to play mind control. It is a build from Anime Princess. First the campaign though. Here you see my talent tree, comparable to the passive tree in PoE. I take increased damage. I discovered a path of progression, which is a bit like the Diablo seasonal menu. It gives some pointers on things you can complete and thus progress on. I'm walking around putting dot damage AoE on the ground called Shadow Swamp. The green bar is my health, the yellow bar my energy shield and the blue bar mana. I kill one of the first bosses in the campaign starting zone. The art style is an acquired taste, but an advantage of this stylized approach is that boss abilities are well telegraphed and super easy to see. This is the skill menu where you can link your skill to support gems if you have enough energy. You get energy from leveling up and later from gear. And here is this season's league mechanic, the Vorax. Kill infected monsters, collect their Vorax substance, and I will get into the rest. Very similar to how Path of Exile introduces league mechanics early on in the campaign. Here you see a few of the infected monsters with the red circles, and after killing them, which takes a while, you can see I collected 2 out of the 48 Vorax substances. I don't need 48, it's just the maximum you can hold. I get a few gear upgrades, the game makes it easy to see if something is an upgrade, and here's the gameplay early on, just dropping Shadow Swamp and walk through the zone while I hit level 8. I find a treasure trove, which are sort of bonus areas with increased experience and guaranteed uniques called legendaries in this game, and it drops the rock lizard's skull. I don't really know what most of the affixes mean, but it seems like an upgrade as tenacity makes me tankier, at least in theory. I run the same trove a few times, but get the same legendary. I dispose of another boss and reach level 11. I can now select a core talent, which is like a keystone in the PoE passive tree. It provides significant power and is available after spending 12 points in this passive skill menu. You can disenchant gear for dust, like in World of Warcraft, and this season disenchanted uniques provide organs, that is for later for crafting. I unlock the Pact Spirits, the infamous pay-to-win aspect of the game. These are pets that provide significant player power. For now I just pick what seems to be my only legendary pet, thinking that that's good. I learned later that is not really how this works. This little guy, for example, you can easily get for free and he synergizes way more with my build. Legendary pets are therefore not necessarily better in all situations. I get Arcane Circle, a spell that provides additional spell damage. Additional, in Torchlight Infinite, is the same as more in Path of Exile. Flasks gain charges on cooldown, and by supporting my flasks with auto charge it gets charged faster. Here you see the Arcane Circle, the big AoE. Also I die to infected monsters. These new Vorax guys hurt a lot actually. I also drop more AoE dots on the ground when casting spells. That is all part of the class Yuga 2. I will not be able to explain every build detail in this video simply because I don't understand everything myself, but I will try to explain as much as I can. In the next treasure trove I find Grace. I think they're good because of the movement speed and energy shield. I get a new amulet, it is purple, which is equivalent to a rare in PoE. Here is a free roll for a loot box and I get the equivalent of a regret orb. I have enough energy to support Shadow Swamp with Ground Divide for more damage. I progress my path of progression and get a passive point. This is the main hub and I'm wondering why this voice actress was in the bathroom when she recorded this.
The Vorax plague isn't so scary. If your leg gets infected, you saw it off. If your hand gets infected, you chop it off. And if your head gets infected...
By progressing the campaign, I complete all 6 tasks of Phase 1 and then as a result I get to claim the Phase 1 rewards. From left to right, that is some blue stuff you can spend in the store, the orange ball is to pull a free pet, the coins are also a store currency and the purple flask is a regret orb. You get all of this for free by the way. You get a lot for free by just playing in fact. I also get my second core talent. I I find the next treasure trove. This one doesn't have a legendary I need, but every first clear of these troves gives a passive point. I kill the boss at the end, here is that passive point reward, plus 2 legendaries. I equip a new wand, it has Reap on it, which deals a portion of the dot damage as true damage every few seconds. Assuming that true damage is the same as in League of Legends, it is damage that cannot be mitigated or resisted. Erosion damage is the type of damage I do otherwise with my spells. It is basically the equivalent of chaos damage in PoE. The implicit of this wand is damage over time, so this is a decent item. I also equipped this Born in Fire ring, which doesn't need much explanation, I think. It is pretty decent, I feel. Here is that same boss again from the trove, and you can tell he dies a lot faster than before. I equip another legendary, clearing the campaign zone, and big doggo Vorax rares look like this. I think decent enough. I unlock my second Pact Spirit, which is another very common pet for me, also providing dot multipliers. I get my first aura, corrosion focus. I think another more multiplier. You can see it reserves mana as well. Here is the next treasure trove. I kill the boss, get the passive point. Here is a campaign boss. There is also a campaign story, which I'm very interested in, as I'm sure you can tell. And here is another. These bosses though, you gotta pay a bit of attention or you will die quite a lot. But once you pay attention, they're fine until much later in endgame where bosses get really hard. Here is the next treasure trove. It's really going from treasure trove to treasure trove really. It has a helmet the guide says that I need. I pick a new passive tree. You can pick up to 4 different ones, a bit like the D4 Paragon boards, but these are not bound to your class. So imagine you can put any Paragon board on any class. That'd be fun, right? And likely broken. But Torchlight Infinite devs don't really care about if something is broken, which is great. Instead, they just give you more insane endgame to complete rather than restrict build options. It is basically the opposite of how Path of Exile handles balance, which is refreshing. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, I just think it's cool that we have 2 options in that regard. Here are more progression milestones. I complete the trove, but I don't get what I want, so I try again. Second time is the charm, and I think the reason why this helmet is good is because I still run both life and energy shield. My skills are all AoE skills. My main skill has the Terra tag, so I can now cast 2 ground dots, so 2 shadow swamps, and 20% movement speed, which is great quality of life. You can tell the effects of this helmet in the footage. I am faster, do more damage, and have more area of effect. I found a new mechanic. You can hear this a lot. Hero traits. You slot in this little ball, Memory of Origin, which you can also upgrade and craft on, by the way, and that unlocks access to 2 choices. These 2 choices have impact on my class ability, called Twisted Spacetime. It is one of the AoEs in my build. It is the thing or ring with a little triangle on it, I think, and it also does dot damage. Here is the menu to upgrade the little ball, the Memory of Origin, but I have no clue about this, so I leave it for now. I complete yet again a trove. I gathered 100 energy, which is enough to 6-link my main skill for big damage. I also start slotting in preparation support on Arcane Circle, my big shiny AoE, which auto-casts the skill from here on out. Ultimately, this build will be an auto-bomber, and here you see that in action, this whole skill is now automated. I claim more progression stuff, including store gambling currency. I reach level 60, unlocking the trading house, and I will make use of that in this run, as I am a complete noob and going SSF I think was a little bit too ambitious. I run the same trove a few times for experience and loot, and I pick my 4th passive skill tree, and I reach the end of the campaign, fighting this boss who reminds me of someone, and a few things happen. I receive more skills that I can use for starters. The purple loot on the ground, called beacons, those are basically waystones from Path of Exile 2, allowing you to enter any map. I also drop the second spacetime class thing and the memory to enable it. I get back to the main hub, I get a quick quest to craft something, and also the netherrealm opens up, which is the equivalent of the mapping system in PoE 1 and 2. Before we start mapping though, it turns out I have collected 37 Vorax substances from killing infected monsters in the campaign, and the game tells me to use these things. I think the game does a decent job explaining this all. The mechanic itself uses similar icons for different attributes, which isn't great, and localization can be an issue, but fortunately most mechanics in Torchlight Infinite are rather intuitive in my opinion, and this isn't all that different. The whole idea is to get as much ultimate activity as possible. I start out with 420, nice, and by selecting cards in the first 10 rounds, plus by using surgical instruments which are permanent bonuses in the top right, I can increase the power of the monsters in tanks, or add monsters, or fuse monsters, or mutate monsters. In short, I can do all sorts of things to these monsters. Ultimate activity is calculated by multiplying the quantity and quality. So the dust moth in round 5 on the far left has 672 activity, which is made from 56 quantity times 12 quality. My best bet at increasing activity is increasing the quality, in this case, is basic math. The Rust Halberdier has a total of 29,500 activity at this point, 125 quantity times 236 quality, meaning that I'm better off giving this guy quantity for the biggest multiplications. There are many other things to take into consideration, such as the rarity of the monster, the type, and the several synergies, but I won't go into all of that. For now, you know the very basics. The game adds up all the activities of all the different monsters in the tanks and it lists that as the ultimate activity on the left. The higher the number, the more and more difficult monsters I need to fight and the better the rewards. In the last 3 rounds out of the 13, you don't get to change your monsters anymore, but instead you have to pick surgical protocols, which are basically modifiers during the fight, a bit like the choices you have to make in the Chaos Temple in Path of Exile 2. With all of this, my first run ends with a score of 245,000, which is actually really good because the maximum score is 1.1 million, so I'm like a quarter there. I start the event. As all the monsters were killed in the campaign and I am now level 60 plus, it turns out all the monsters in this event are level 14, so it's pretty easy. Nevertheless, you get the idea. The monsters spawn in waves and phases. I have not been able to figure out in-game how to enable a loot filter at this point, which I guess is quite obvious. I was looking in the wrong menu, as it turns out, for a significant amount of time. And now, as a reward, I get to open the 6 chambers or cages that the monsters were kept in for additional rewards. The rewards now are really bad, as this is a level 14 event, but it will get significantly better. I'm a big fan of this mechanic though. It is effortless in how you collect the materials, it is a fun and intelligent minigame to increase the score, and once you start fighting monsters your own level, it can be challenging and rewarding at the same time. What more can you ask of a League mechanic? I have found a new mechanic. Boss Conquest, where you battle a boss, in this case the final boss in the campaign, and basically kill him over and over and over again, and you reach certain stages by doing that. You can see my rank, 99, 100, 101. Every time the health bar goes down, he gets a rank, and he gets stronger with each rank. This is basically a glorified interactive test dummy. You get certain rewards for doing this as well. I get my second login bonus, that means it is day 2 for me. I also unlock this support gem. There are several daily login tracks for some reason, monetary reasons I assume. It is time for the netherrealm mapping. Before we get there, a quick peek at the character. Level 61, mostly negative resistances. The DPS and survival rates are not very accurate, I feel, but there it is. I will provide target dummy data later, after I figure out there is a target dummy. And here is the netherrealm. It is basically the Atlas in Path of Exile 1. I unlock drop pact spirits. These are pets that impact drops, which means loot. Here the pay to win gets pretty outrageous, of course. I, however, only have 2 free pets. I can't even fill the 3rd spot at the moment, meaning I get only a little bit more loot. These guys can also pick up loot for you automatically once you unlock auto loot, and that you can do in the free version of the battle pass at rank 15. And that takes a few hours in my experience. Back at the netherrealm, it has 5 zones. I have beacons or waystones for the glacial zone. You can pick a map to run. Some have specific bonuses or modifiers on them, like 3 extra monster packs in this case. And there's also an Atlas passive tree called the Void Chart, where you can allocate points. I have found a new League mechanic. Tower, I think it is called, and somehow there is a money transport truck in my map which I rob. I kill monsters, there's money dropping everywhere, and I increase my crime rating. I never managed to get decent loot from this, however. Back at the Pact Spirits, it turns out I can select a Battle Pact Spirit I want, increasing the chances that I get it from random loot boxes. I collected some tokens to get loot boxes just by playing the game. Whenever you get a pet you already have, you get a pet upgrade token instead, which upgrades the pet. The max level of pets is level 6, meaning getting legendary pets which are super rare all the way to level 6 is going to require some serious swiping. I am not swiping, so I get blue magic pets and I upgrade several of them. That goes for my drop pets as well. This one is already level 4. I select this guy as my third battle pet for some resistances, get to roll several more times as the game does provide plenty of free rolls. This was a whole 10 pack for example just for free, and I was able to do this a few times, increasing my collection significantly. It allows me to upgrade my battle pets even further. These guys are not the best pets out there, but they are already level 4 and level 5. Time for a bit of crafting. First, gear empowerment. Gear can have energy, it is a random roll, and by spending these blue crystals I can reroll the amount of energy. Energy dictates how many support gems I can link to my skills, so it is very important. This is why now I can support this spell, which is already automated, with cooldown reduction, increasing the uptime of the big purple AoE spell. Here is a little bit of gameplay to showcase that. The AoE spell is now always up and has no longer an active cooldown. Back at the netherrealm, I have now completed 4 maps, and that means I can fight the zone boss. Here it is, plus a little cinematic, I think pretty cool. I do a lot of damage, so the cinematic takes longer than the fight. But don't let that fool you, there is a ton of scaling ahead. This is like a tier 1 map boss. I get to claim several things afterwards. After this victory, I get an upgraded version of the legendary, the Grace Boots, which has energy on it, and I find my first Vorax boots that can be used for some next level crafting. Speaking of Vorax, here is another batch, 96k juice. It's not great, but I run it anyway, and I get a rotten organ used in Vorax crafting. My next attempt, I reach almost 300k. These are my early attempts, but even after I have a thorough understanding of the mechanic, later on you will still have to deal with RNG, so getting 300k isn't guaranteed. You will get it quite a bit though. I complete the event, open more crafts and more boxes, get more organs, and yes, I still haven't figured out the loot filter settings. Next attempt, another one close to 300k, monster level is 59, so pretty close to my own level, making this more of a challenge, but also significantly increasing the rewards. As I complete several maps in the netherrealm, I get more points on the void shard. I allocate drop quantity. After killing the boss, I can increase the time mark, which are equivalent to map tiers in PoE. Time mark 2 means level 63 to 67 maps. Naturally, these drop better rewards. I have found a new league mechanic, once again, overrealm. This door with an eye on it to another dimension. I am on a timer here and can kill monsters in an alternate reality and receive some rewards. Not many as of now. As the timer runs out, the same door opens again and I can return to the map. I kill the map boss, reach level 68, allocate another pact point, so now I have 2 trees of pets allocated for more damage, and I completed enough maps to do the zone boss, this guy. You can tell it already takes a little bit longer, the game is getting a little bit harder. Back at the Vorax, almost 600k juice this time, meaning more rewards, but also significantly harder monsters, as you can tell. But I succeed, loot some loot, and do another crafting session. This is regular crafting for all intents and purposes. Here you can spend resources, the purple crystals and the blue cubes, to add or reroll affixes. You can see which affixes are available, making this quite easy and intuitive. So I select an empty prefix and roll damage over time. That is a good affix for me. You can also see in this clip I can only craft tier 5 affixes, and that is because of the item level of the item, similar to PoE. This game, however, just tells you that there's no need for an external website. I add lightning resistance to this item and I continue my journey. In the next map I encounter the scavenger, not unlike the butcher, and after killing him he always drops a surgical instrument for the Vorax event, meaning you can start your next Vorax event with a bonus, or like an active effect. Here is the zone boss again from the glacial zone. This is time mark 2, so he is tankier. Killing the boss gives an Atlas passive point, a void chart point, and also unlocks another plane, meaning another zone in the netherrealm. Plus, of course, access to Time Mark III, the next tier of maps, level 68 to 71. And for reference, here is my character's overview at this time. Level 72, at least some resistances, and my DPS is 4 times higher than before. I have still not discovered the dummy, so real DPS is unknown. Furthermore, by reaching Time Mark III, I get another free pet, and this is a loot pet, Happy Chonky. My next Vorax attempt is less successful, only 80k. Later I will just abandon these, but now I can still use these updates. The yellow loot are materials, for example for crafting, in case you're wondering. I have found a new league mechanic. Flying cards in the map. You walk under them, they turn, say something like the hanged man, leaving you confused as to what that means. Then typically monsters spawn, you kill them, or they kill you and you get a reward. Collect all cards, click on the icon in the UI, which states 4 out of 4, and I can run the turret path. This is another minigame where I am the blue pawn. I can roll the dice in the form of this card. I ideally collect chests by landing on those platforms with the correct rolls. Avoid the red stuff, which kills me, removes a life. I maneuver following the path, hoping to land on some chests. Collect a few chests along the way, and then I get to the end, or you lose all your life, which is also the end. And that means that it is time to start the fateful contest, where this happens. I think it's clear this is an excellent league mechanic. It is not about her chests, however, it is about my chests that I collected. You can see them displayed. You summon the chest, it spawns monsters based on the card, and then you get a specific reward, in my case micro fate spell damage. If I open the Pact Spirit menu where I get these bonuses and their trees, I can now insert a micro fate for spell damage and replace a minor node. It's a bit like a tattoo in PoE. What I love about this and other league mechanics, apart from the obvious, is that every league mechanic serves as the prime source of loot for a specific purpose, even more so than in PoE. And I really like there is a specific reason to play this content, especially if I play SSF, which I will do probably in the next season. These micro fates, to my understanding, only come from tarot cards, and I think that's great. Up next, another zone boss, this guy again on Time Mark III, significantly tankier as you can see. I reached level 75, equip a new wand, and I'm also taking into account that I can still craft and reroll affixes on this thing. I equip a belt, increasing AoE and increased area damage to create affixes for me. I realized at this point that damage is mandatory and defenses are optional. I draw 2 more pets with 3 tokens and invest in the void shard points into netherrealm resonance. That is a currency that is adding modifiers and quantity to your maps. It is used for rolling your maps basically, and thus very useful. I kill a map boss and drop 2 divinity slate pieces, yet another mechanic to improve your character. These are Tetris pieces that you can craft on and slot into this board. They have fixed implicits and craftable affixes for which you need a special currency. And as I want to fill the box with more Tetris pieces, I run maps providing me those pieces as a reward, which you can tell by the icon. By the way, you can target farm most of the things this way. When it comes to crafting the Tetris pieces, I use these brands to add a random affix. Ailment damage, not great, and just damage, flat damage, which is fine. I craft a bit more on gear and get tier 4 fire resistance, reach level 78, and what do you know? Well, what do you know? I found a new league mechanic. This time I killed monsters with a purple icon which filled up this diamond in the UI, and then when I click on the diamond, monsters appear again. I kill them and then I am disappointed because their rewards are horrible, it seems. I'm sure this mechanic has a name, but I'm not sure what that name would be. It is very not impressive, however. Then it is time to try out Vorax crafting. Through the Vorax mechanic I found a base, this ring, and also several rotten organs. These are organs for basic affixes and they add a tier 5 to tier 3 affix on the item. There are different types of affixes, however, and I don't mean prefixes or suffixes. I mean basic affixes and advanced affixes and even unique affixes, and to my knowledge you can only have 2 advanced affixes per item. These are better, as you would expect, than basic affixes. I don't seem to have special organs to put those on the gear, but I do have core organs, which I got from disenchanting uniques, so those would be the unique or legendary affixes. Before I can use it though, I have to first fill all of my other affixes using normal organs, so I'm adding 2 more basic affixes. This is not a bad item at all with just these affixes, but then with the core organ I get to add a unique or legendary affix. It is a 25% chance per mod, so they're not weighted, meaning I have a 1 in 4 chance to get 20% movement speed on a ring. Depending on the disenchanted unique, you have different affixes, and I have to click on the info icon to see them, which is a bit of a hassle, but okay. Some of these affixes are very powerful and build enabling, and normally only available on the specific unique that I disenchanted, but with Vorax crafting I have a chance to put these on the ring. I even get a choice of 2, so I guess I had a 50% chance on movement speed, but I missed. I take life for now. I'm also just testing how this works, and you can see that the suffix was replaced with this new unique modifier, and it lists the base unique it came from as well. This is a pretty good ring for me nonetheless. There's way more you can do with this, like imprinting, but I never made it that far. Still, this is an upgrade, and I'll happily equip my first Vorax self-crafted item. I found another league mechanic, this time pirates from the Void Sea called Blacksail. At the end of the map, after fighting some pirates, you get to select a modifier. You have to do this a couple of times, like 6 or 7 times or so, until you fill up all of the modifiers of a treasure chest. And then you go and fight a boss, and once he is dead, you get to open that treasure chest with all of the modifiers you selected. That chest contains primarily memories and scraps and everything to do with memories, so you can upgrade memories, get new memories, and that makes this the best way to farm those resources. I pick up more Tetris pieces in Scribe 1, I craft on a new chest piece. It is evasion based, which is not great, but affliction effect is good for my build, and life and damage affix is okay as well. I think it becomes pink rarity if you craft and fill all of the affixes. The biggest selling point, however, is the 92 energy on it, which translates to more support gems. I do another zone boss. These guys are becoming pretty tanky and my gear isn't necessarily keeping up, I feel. It does mean that I've reached time mark 5. I unlock another loot pad for free, so now I have at least 3 of those with me. Do a 150k Vorax show, draw 10 more pads for free with currency I earned while playing for free. Equip one of the new battle pads, thinking it may fit my build better. Upgrading several other pads, you can tell which can be upgraded by the exclamation mark. I managed to unlock all of the 3 space-time class powers, although I wouldn't be able to tell you what all of these do exactly. I have found another mechanic, Supreme Showdown. This is yet another tiered endgame system. I think there are 20 showdowns where you fight a boss. This is the first showdown, it's not a problem at all, and here's the second. And I can already tell this ramps up super quickly. The highest tiers are probably for Giga Chads only. I have also finally discovered the loot filter, which is great. I craft an affix over and over again on a weapon until I get affliction effect. As long as you have the crafting materials, you can do this. I changed the energy to a number that I'm happy with, 43, and it is a nice new wand. Here are more reflux scepters, so maybe it is a scepter, not a wand. On one of those I craft reaping, which is great. I continue to craft, and here is the final result, providing me with more DPS and energy. I didn't record the swap itself, but I did swap to my final build setup using mind control. It is still an erosion damage over time skill, but it is automatically cast. It is like Righteous Fire in PoE, but rather than burning, it sends out these beams and does damage over time to several enemies at the same time. I find a new memory for the space-time stuff with the movement speed implicit, which I quite like. I like it so much I'm willing to start crafting on it, which requires these memory scraps. I have 89 of them, it seems easy enough as well. In the Void Shard I do a small respec and invest in another league mechanic, God of War. It is just a thing that you click and then killing monsters makes you super fast. I play another turret path, I'm getting much better at it. I collected 7 chests this time. I craft a new helmet as my previous unique one is now pointless. The synergy with Terra skills is gone, mind control isn't a Terra skill. I keep investing in the Lich skill tree, and the main thing this thing provides is mana reservation, allowing me to enable more auras. For the first time I reach a Vorax score of over 1 million, and yeah, that is a lot of loot from just a single container. I draw more pets, actually pull a legendary one, but it is a cat, a pirate cat, and it's not good for my build, I think. Shame. This guy seems pretty okay though, with all the erosion synergy. I reach level 85, kill another zone boss, invest further in God of War, kill another zone boss. These keep providing me with void shard points. I buy a few beacons at the trader, similar to how Doriani sells you waystones, kill another zone boss, craft myself some gloves, and these are not great items, but are all significant upgrades. I reach level 87, kill yet again another zone boss, enhance more memories, this one has damage, and at max level, level 20 on this one, I get another affix. Pretty cool, shame it's a bad one. Good news is I can reroll it using more currency and ultimately land on tier 3 damage over time, which I feel works. I craft a new helmet, energy shield based. Those gloves are also a decent starting point. I fix the energy, I max roll it even, and 46 on the gloves. I craft a ring with energy shield and resistances and boots, but I realize movement speed is an advanced affix and those are way more expensive to craft. So I figure I should try and find a base that has movement speed already on it, so I don't have to craft it, and then all that's left for me to craft are, for example, resistances, and those are fairly cheap. Here is a new belt. This also does quite well, just solid affixes across the board, and that is all I want. I have found another mechanic, the trading house or the auction house. You don't see these often in my videos. I am an SSF player, but playing SSF on my first serious Torchlight Infinite run seemed like a bad idea. So here I am purchasing a unique helmet, limiting me to 1 curse, but increasing curse duration, area and damage against cursed monsters. I am autocasting a curse as if it is a blasphemy support in Path of Exile, so this is a great item. The second legendary is the Twilight Vestment, great energy shield, +1 to skills, and energy shield recharge when I reap, which I do all the time, plus an amulet with increased effect of my erosion damage, and after that the build plays like this, fast with the God of War on me, and smooth because of the upgrades, and I reach level 88. Here is some time marked 5 single target damage. The build ramps up quite a bit, but this is solid damage for the content I'm running, I feel. Grinding maps is very smooth here, you can see how easily I kill everything, and I reach level 89. I upgrade that memory that I had with the movement speed to max level and hit affliction effect. Perfect. Here is another boss, similar damage, it's great. This means more void shard points, and I've reached time mark 7-0. This is the equivalent, in my opinion, of reaching, let's say, tier 13 or so in Path of Exile. The time marks are extended now, so you have 7-0, 7-1 and 7-2, and each increase is a significant step up in difficulty. The game tells me I can't survive these basically, but I'm gonna run it anyway. And mapping is mostly fine as I have enough damage to clear the zones, but I will die here and there, which costs me experience. I do make it to level 90, claim more free stuff from the path progression menu, level all my skills, which I can conveniently do right here. In the next map you see the God of War mechanic. The more monsters I kill with it, the faster I get. You may not realize it from looking at the footage, but this is a complete auto bomber at this point. I'm not casting a single spell, only a potion from time to time, but even that I will get rid of later. I also use netherrealm resonance, these diamond shaped things, to add extra affixes to the maps, so I roll my maps in that sense for simply harder maps and more loot. As I invested in those in the void shard, the Atlas passive tree, I can self-sustain. By reaching level 90, I unlocked the entire Tetris pouch, so I slot in more pieces. I have found a level 82 scepter, meaning I can craft tier 2 mods on there. Erosion damage is a good roll. I have found a new mechanic, the training dummy. This should provide accurate DPS, and mine at the moment is about 70 million. That is a lot in Path of Exile terms, but Torchlight Infinite goes well into the trillions, so this is quite modest. I get mana boil instead of a flask, like I already mentioned. I am now low life and energy shield, so I no longer need a flask, and mana boil is automatically cast and does more damage. On the dummy, I gained around 10 million DPS just by doing this change. I improve more pieces like this belt, kill more zone bosses, 800k plus Vorax events. I start listing some items for sale as well, trying to make a bit of currency called Flame Elementium. You use that for crafting, but it is also the most common currency for trading, like Chaos orbs in Path of Exile. I keep improving my weapons as they contribute so much to the DPS output. Improving tiers or affixes that are good for my build, like damage over time. I claim a load of rewards. Here is yet again another game mechanic, basically divination cards you can turn in. I claim more rewards, I get another 11 or so free pet rolls, and my main loot pet has now reached level 5 and the second loot pet is max level, all for free. I kill 2 more zone bosses and I have now collected enough fragments to fight the Realm Lord. This is the first pinnacle fight in Thyworm 7. It is the Traveler Singularity and it is not going all that well. My 70 million DPS seems to be insufficient for this fight. I barely put a dent into the guy where he does a ton of abilities that hurt quite a lot. It's a cool fight by the way. I'm doing this for the first time so I'm walking into all sorts of abilities here, but after a while you get the hang of it. You can tell the patterns and there's a lot of visual clarity thanks to a clean art style. I have 6 lives, 6 portals and I keep going at it, just trying to learn as much as I can from the fight. I get to the second phase where he drops more AoE from the portals. There are more cubes flying around and his own triple attacks now have a second combo. After 6 minutes in which I get him to about half health, I run out of portals. I keep improving, get my DPS to around 100 million, craft on several Tetris pieces hoping for good affixes. These aren't great, and all of these aren't great either. I get a memory with life, that's not great. I do get it to level 20 though to unlock an affix and I re-roll it until I get something decent. It is all these small upgrades combined that increase the DPS significantly if you add it all up. I do another Tarot Path, collect 4 chests. This is my favorite mechanic for no apparent reason or reasons, but it can be pretty hard to unlock those chests. The mechanic I mean. A level 5 red chest is no joke, but worth it in the end. I continue crafting, focusing on getting tier 2 affixes on all my important gear pieces, and this ring is a decent example of that. 2 advanced tier 2 affixes, very decent basic tier 2 affixes, with only a tier 3 max life, which is fine. I recraft some resistances and it is done. For this build I start with a decent base and slowly but surely increase the affix tiers and getting good affixes. This costs materials of course, so in the meantime between crafting sessions I'm grinding maps for bases and currency. The belt is done, I equip it, it's on to the next item, gloves. For affixes I like energy shield and damage. Suffixes can be reaping duration, resistances, affliction effects, and this way I get another piece done and it is much better than what I had. I have a new helmet as well, same item level, so I can get similar tier 2 affixes on here, and I'm looking mostly for the same modifiers: energy shield, damage, affliction, erosion, reaping and resistances. Finally, I decided to make Vorax boots and I actually managed to get someone decent affixes, although I only have rotten parts for lower tier affixes. I get lucky with the affix from the legendary, it is the orange one, so I do hit the 20% movement speed, and there's already movement speed on the suffix as well, so these are some pretty fast boots. The other affixes, however, nothing to write home about. They don't really hold up against a well-crafted tier 2 affix boot, I think. So despite an interesting crafting session, I store them in my storage and don't equip them. I reach level 92, keep killing zone bosses for Atlas passive points, do more supreme showdowns, I clear stage 3 and 4. Floor 5 is a little harder, but after a few tries he does go down. No reason to try floor 6 however. I discover auto crafting, you can set which tier and affix you want and then the game recrafts and spends crafting currency until you hit. I got myself rare, so purple memories, they can reach level 30, meaning in this case more damage from the implicit. The affix roll isn't bad either. At level 30 it is 84% damage implicit. I reach level 93, upgrade the netherrealm to Thyworm 7 too, and it is significantly harder. You get more rewards, but I'm wondering if me dying and taking a much longer time to kill monsters is actually worth it. After several upgrades, I'm testing my DPS, it is around 160 million. I craft and equip better boots, get a purple memory which I can upgrade further than the one I had. I craft tier 2 erosion damage, I reroll the values of my affixes, this is like using a divine orb. It's misty in town due to a mechanic, but I only realized later that I can turn that off in the settings. I test DPS once more, it is around 190 million and that means another attempt at the Traveler. Previously, I had 70 million DPS and managed to get him to half health, plus learn most of the mechanics. Now I have around 190 million DPS and some experience with the fight, and it pays off. It is in the end still a 5-minute fight or something, and many of his abilities will kill me if I don't pay attention, and I do die a few times, but finally I am victorious, and this feels really good. The loot seems meh, but okay. This is a huge milestone in terms of progression and a big step for me, killing the Time Mark 7 Traveler for the first time. I unlock more pet bonuses as a reward, plus a pedigree of gods, a unique slate or Tetris piece. It is way better than what I have, so I make some adjustments to the Tetris board and I test DPS again. It is now up to 220 million. I have found yet again an endgame mechanic, Path of the Brave, another system to progress in. You have these coins and I can use them to load into the first level, and then you have to kill 10 stages, several enemies to progress, and it ends with a zone boss. If you kill them, you get the coin to access the next batch of 10 levels plus a bit of loot. There's probably a little bit more to it than that, but this is all I got for you. Now that I've killed the Traveler, Time Mark 7, I am rewarded with 2 special Atlas 3 points for the Profound Talent Constellation. These are big bonuses and many have downsides as well. I choose to spawn 4 map bosses in the maps 25% of the time. I trade for another memory with energy shield on it and decent implicit. I reached the Vorax cap of 1.1 million points for the first time, and I get some very tasty loot in the end. The Flame Elementium in bright orange, that is what I'm looking for, as it allows me to buy upgrades from the trade house. I keep checking DPS, not to show off but to see if the changes that I'm making to the build have any effect. It is around 240 million currently. I keep upgrading gear, trying to get all affixes to tier 2. I try to maximum juice a map with full netherrealm resonance, the diamond shaped things, and I get instantly one-shot when I enter that map. The power increases are incredibly steep in this game. It's like going from tier 11 to tier 16 in one go. So I toned down a little, just 3 resonances is more than enough, meaning I only have a few map mods, which is like running a magic map in PoE instead of an 8 mod corrupted map. But not just maps get harder, as all league mechanics scale off of monster level. These void pirates are also a lot tougher. I previously one-shot this boss and now it's a real fight with a bunch of mechanics. I do prevail, fortunately. It is day 5, time to log in and reap the free rewards, and time to buy more upgrades after farming more maps. This necklace, the False God's Skin, which provides flat attributes per character level and attribute increases. Intelligence in this game is a more multiplier for my build at least. Second, a Hecate's Vision, which makes me deal more damage against cursed enemies, and enemies are always cursed. Plus the AoE is great as well. And third, a Traceless Pain, another source of reap which I explained before. It is dealing part of the dot damage instantly as true damage. Very strong. The red modifiers you see are corroded modifiers. It is basically the result of corrupting an item with a Val Orb. Then I fixed some resistances as I am erosion res capped after equipping all of these pieces. The cap is 60% by the way here. Time for another DPS check. It is about 430 million DPS, so these 3 pieces almost doubled my damage. I upgrade my orange memory and get a perfect tier 1 affix on it. And a little later I upgrade it all the way to level 39 for 516 energy shield, which is a lot. I complete the orange memory upgrades level 40 and get another great tier 1 affix, energy shield. I found a ring which I will try to sell for 200 FE, Flame Elementium. I keep farming, I collect more FE and gathered enough to be able to buy this new weapon for 200 FE with a bunch of tier 1 mods on it. This should be a massive upgrade. Time to test, and yeah, 830 million DPS or so, again almost doubling my damage. Weapon upgrades are insanely good in this game, even more so than in PoE it seems. I kill another Traveler with my newfound damage, purchase a new waystone for Time Mark 8, use a compass for the first time. These are your scarabs you can slot in the map device, typically guaranteeing a league mechanic to show up. I find a bunch of beacons in a chest near the map boss. It's like a cartography strongbox. Play more turret path, look at the chest, open the chests. This is getting pretty rough as well, but worth it. I get my second new wand also for 200 FE with similar tier 1 affixes on it, and this allows me to break the barrier of 1 billion damage. It is around 1.15 billion DPS at the moment. I found a legendary item I already have, so I'm trying to corrupt it, see if I get anything useful. I first fix energy. I buy 7 Amberon cores, which is basically a Val orb. Start the corrosion, which can pick 1 out of 5 possible outcomes. And in this case, it picked the outcome to upgrade an affix by 1 tier. Other options are to add an implicit or to simply corrupt the item without any changes, and there's probably a few more. This isn't an upgrade, by the way. I keep progressing, making my way through time mark 8, doing 8-0. It has the 3 levels again, 8-0, 8-1 and 8-2, all a significant step up in difficulty. I kill several zone bosses and the loot is getting pretty good actually. They keep providing Atlas passive points and I think to myself, why not try the Traveler in time mark 8? Well, this is why. Despite my 1 billion damage, his life bar barely moves. My life bar, on the other hand, or rather energy shield bar, moves rather quickly towards negative values. I'm clearly entering this party a little early. I discover a secret realm in the maps and this zone is pretty fun. It is full of harmless goblins and if you kill them they spawn map bosses. Those in turn drop tons of loot, making this a very lucrative map to run and pretty chaotic at times, spawning 5 map bosses at the same time. It is day 7, that means big free to play rewards. I am still free to play up until now, by the way. I also have a bunch of draws left and one of the draws actually results in the legendary pet, a guy that I've been looking for since I started. This should be a massive damage increase for my build, so I form a pact with him and just to show that difference, it is another 200 million extra DPS or something. I gained some MTX as well, so I look a bit more flashy and the grinding continues. More maps, more void pirates with tons of loot and resources for memory stuff. I corrode an amulet, but nothing happens, it just gets corroded. I upgrade another memory to orange, it can gain more levels than purple, meaning more intelligence, meaning more damage. There are several more league mechanics actually that I thought of covering, like this thing over here, not sure what it is exactly. There are Lotus Dreams inside and outside of the map. There is a Clockwork which also adds monsters to the map and Mistfill, a complete standalone mechanic, but I'm already at 15 pages of script, it's getting a little out of hand and I'm not even sure people will watch this. So I'll be focusing on some highlights and the ending instead. I get a new loot pad from completing many Vorax events. This is a Vorax specific loot pad as well, increasing loot from that mechanic. And it's free. I start investing a bit in Oasis, which is like King's March, setting up a village. I buy a significantly better version of my amulet and of my ring, 1.6 billion DPS. Time mark 8-0 map bosses are melting at this point. The day 7 login bonus was a free legendary drop pad and I have no clue what to use it on, so I pick Alice 1 for the generic drop quantity. And there's also something going on with Clockwork. I reroll the affix on my memory and upgrade it further. Here's the Oasis mechanic, I gain coins, resources, and that is used to build the city and hire workers. Here is an overview of the town, you kinda get the idea if you ever played King's March. You can send out gliders and airships even, similar to boats. There are miners, bakers, you get the idea. I started doing time mark 8-1 zone bosses, which take a while, but it is doable. They give me more void shard passive points. I purchase more memory scraps to upgrade the memories. I roll erosion damage, that's not bad, it is max level, nice upgrade. I've bought a 3rd orange memory, roll more mobs, upgrade it best I can, and we're at 2 billion DPS. I'm doing more crafting on the belt, fishing for good tier 2 affixes, and I found gloves with 2 tier 1 affixes on it already, so I decided to craft it myself. The first roll is a tier 1 damage prefix, amazing. I get some more materials from the trade house, decide to autocraft tier 1 affliction effect, which is expensive as you can see, but the result is impressive, at least I think so. I had one more free legendary pet reward and I pick Swaying Blondie, another massive upgrade, bringing my DPS to 2.5 billion. This should also give you an idea about the pay to win. This pet just gave me 20% more damage and you can just swipe the gamble and get it. Plus, it can get up to level 6 minus level 1, so you can imagine how much more power you're getting by simply spending cash. That said, I do want to support this game because it is a fun game nonetheless, so I do purchase the battle pass and I get a bunch of rewards plus some quality of life, like the ability to automatically load loot pets in certain scenarios. For example, I get a different pet setup for mapping than for Vorax. I improve my weapon further, more tier 1 bolts, 2.9 billion DPS at this point. I sold a memory for 169 FE. I get a bunch more FE from the Vorax, and speaking of which, here is another 1.8 million reward. It is safe to say I now understand the mechanic quite well after a week, and that is a lot of loot, definitely worth it. I have another avenue of big power gains, the Tetris pieces. Mine are okay at best, but better ones should provide significant power. They can give skill levels or more stacks of channeled spells, and mind control is a channeled spell. I buy some crafting materials for these. You can't change the implicit, I think, but you can reroll the regular modifiers. After improving Tetris pieces, 3.3 billion DPS. I can do better, I feel. I can even craft a legendary affix on these rings, so I buy more materials and keep going at it. There are many options, however, for these legendary affixes, and I don't get lucky. Making this more deterministic seems incredibly expensive. This seems like a super high-end improvement, so maybe I shouldn't go here yet. I do buy a better pedigree of the gods, however, with another 10% more damage to enemies in proximity, I suppose the equivalent of nearby enemies in PoE. And yeah, it works, over 5 billion DPS. I'm not done yet. I want full tier 1 affixes on my weapons, and there it is, 6 billion DPS. And here, those gloves from before, also completely tier 1. Self-crafted. I'm proud of this one. It is more Tetris pieces because I learned that max channeled stacks are better than the plus levels to skills. And this is quite good, 6.5 billion DPS. I realize I can get another channeled stack on my belt by a process called blending. So I buy the materials, blend them on the belt, and there we go. 9 billion DPS. A little later, more Tetris pieces, more channeled stacks, a little crafting on them, and it is time for a time mark 8-2 zone boss, which I'm able to take down. This is the hardest content I've done so far, and these guys have tons of life, but I managed just fine. It means more Atlas passive points, I complete the entire battle pass, and it is then time to try the Traveler in time mark 8. Well, I failed. Back to the crafting table. This blended belt, for example, let's get tier 2 affixes on there. Same with this ring, all tier 2 affixes. The talking rings though, there is a big upgrade I can get. This unique ring, or legendary ring. And I purchased one for 450 FE, my most expensive buy yet. It gives +2 channeled stacks, 11 billion DPS. Here is another crafting mechanic using the Dream League mechanic. It's called Dream Talking Interpretation. The way this works is you get to pick an upside and downside as implicit on the gear. This combination isn't great because I like energy shield, but you can keep trying. Minus lightning res, also not great. Minus damage, pretty bad. But this is amazing. Plus energy shield, minus minion damage. The downside doesn't impact my build at all, I'm not using minions. I found another Twilight vestment that I can corrode, and this time it hits 2 affixes and improves them, including reaping. I price check some of these items, which you can do in game, and this seems to be worth a lot. I'm back to buy another ring. It's the same one, but now it has +3 channeled stacks, and it's also twice as expensive, 900 FE. Plus more Tetris pieces, also with channeled stacks. The result, 13.5 billion DPS. Will it be enough? Well, I get the Traveler below half health, but I run out of portals. I feel I can do it, however, so I try again, but I can't. I start a fire sale, selling all my compasses and other materials I don't need. This provides me with tons of flame elementium, which I then use to buy a blended belt with the channeled stacks implicit and a bunch of tier 1 mods for a measly 1000 FE. I continue crafting on it myself. With a tier 1 intelligence roll, I buy more materials for dream talking for the weapons this time, rolling more damage over time and losing a stack that I don't use, so that's great. The second one rolls more dot damage as well. I realize, however, I can only equip 3 dream talking pieces, so I have to remove the dream implicits from one item, which fortunately you can do. I'd be pretty screwed otherwise. So the gloves, my first dream piece, will be put back to its original form. DPS 17 billion. I farm a few zone bosses to get access to the Traveler once more and give it another go. It is a very tense fight because I can't really tank any of his abilities. My build is very glass cannon, but after around 6 minutes of high adrenaline and dodging boss mechanics, I finally managed to kill the time mark 8 Traveler. It is quite an achievement, I feel. I unlock several things. My pact gets more nodes, which translates to more damage. I get another free legendary pet for defeating this boss, and I decide to purchase one from the store as well for $15, bringing my total spend to $35 or about 30 euros for the season. These pet rewards guarantee you a legendary pet, so I take this one, the portrait pet. And then I get to either pick another new legendary pet or upgrade an existing one, and I opt to do the latter. So after all this, I now have 3 legendary battle pets, all relevant for my build, and one of them is even rank 2, so it's all good. And that brings me to the final mapping. I have unlocked Profound, which comes after time mark 8. It is like tier 17 maps, I would say. It is very deadly, as you can tell. I can do this, but it isn't exactly comfortable, so I dabble around in Profound for a little bit, but get my ass back to tier 8 soon enough, as that is way more cozy and enjoyable in terms of just mapping. I complete the Vorax reward/battle pass, and that is it for the season. Final DPS is around 20 to 25 billion. I've achieved way more than I initially thought was possible, and despite the pay to win aspects of the game, I believe it is the second best ARPG on the market after PoE 1, at least for me. The smoothness, the vast amount of content, the frictionless experience, the synergy between all the mechanics, and the fact each mechanic has its own identity just does wonders for this game. Also, the amount of updates this game gets is staggering and on par with the PoE development life cycles. So all the things that you learn in-game you get to practice every few months rather than, let's say, every 8 months if you're lucky. I hope you enjoyed this adventure as much as I did. I will have a Diablo 2 Resurrected adventure coming up as well, and soon PoE 1 starts of course again, so I'll be diving back into that as well. Thanks for watching and making it to the end, I really appreciate it. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.